Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Mr. Eckberg, just for making this happen. And please, again, I'll thank your wife later this evening. Again, I'm honored to be able to speak to you this afternoon. I wrote my autobiography, and I'll kind of cover that in the end, but just to motivate and inspire people and to give them a glimpse of my life and the things and awesome things that I've experienced, but again, some of the hard times. And I'll share this afternoon just a little glimpse of my life in a short way, and then definitely love to open up to questions afterwards. So I'm standing on Mount Rainier at about 10,000 feet at Camp Muir. There's no trees. It's a beautiful sunny day out. I'm sweating, have sunblock on my face because when you get that high, apparently a few thousand feet makes the sun a lot hotter. But it was warm. It was nice. The day prior, we had climbed from Camp Paradise, 4,000 to 6,000 feet up, crossed Pebble Creek, chicaned our way up the ice sheet, going through snow, pebbles, rocks. But again, it was a very easy climb. And this day up at Camp Muir, we were practicing being tied in together on a 4-man team because the next day we were going to attempt to make the summit at 14,410 feet. Again, very relaxing. And as the day was coming to a close, we were all sitting around a campfire where the camp guides were warming snow to make water for us the next day. And as the lead climb guide, after he was finishing the route that we were going to take, he said, we're going to wake up about 11 and get climbing at 12. So as I'm like going back to my tent with my buddies, I'm like, this is awesome. We're going to get like over 12 hours of sleep. Needless to say, he told me, sorry, Scotty, it's called alpine sleep, and you're going to get less than 2. Well, I did get less than 2 and was woken up at 11 o'clock the same day and got climbing at 12. Again, we could not have asked for a better night to climb. This moon was out. The stars were shining. We all had little lamps on our foreheads to see where we were going. In the case for safety reasons, guides or safety rangers could come and find us if anything happened. But again, it was a beautiful, beautiful evening to climb. And we'd stop about every hour and a half to 2 hours to rest, sitting on our backpacks, drinking Gatorade, water, eating M&Ms, getting some type of energy. And after we had summited through Disappointment Cleaver, this huge rock face on Mount Rainier, my legs were done. My calves were burning, my quads, my core, my arms. My body was dead tired. As I sat on my backpack just thinking, you still have thousands of feet to go. Tens of thousands of steps. The lack of oxygen, it's getting to you. I looked up at the lead climb guide and said, I don't think I can make it. I don't think I can make it to the top. I rewind several years earlier, raised in a large family, 3 brothers, 3 sisters. We were definitely a team, and we definitely fought together. And but that competition that I had with my 2 older brothers and, always trying to be tougher than my younger sisters who probably beat me in everything, it pushed I pushed myself academically, physically, and spiritually because I knew inherently that in order to be someone and to do something, I had to get a job. I had to do something with my life. And it had to start now. So that meant I had to study, do homework, even though I never liked it, never wanted to do it. But I knew inherently that I had to push myself to be someone in the future. And as I came close to the end of graduating, I chose to attend one of the best schools in the world, United States Military Academy in West Point, New York. Me telling my mom and dad, my mom crying, like, why don't you go to the Air Force Academy? It's only a few states away. We're from Washington State, and New York and Washington, that's 2 sides of America. And inherently, I kind of knew my mom would probably visit me just as much in New York as she would in Colorado. But having an older brother at West Point kind of meant something to me, and that was one of the deciding factors. Me dating my girlfriend, it was difficult to say goodbye because we all know how important high school girlfriends are. And so as I'm heading on my one-way ticket that my parents bought for me, by myself, one way. Like, I knew I only had one ticket, and it was going to drop me off in New York. The first half an hour of that flight, I just spent crying, like just bawling, tears were coming down. And I know the men and women sitting next to me like, what's wrong with this guy? He's wacko. But it meant something to me. I was leaving my comfort zone, my parents, my family, my friends. I was leaving my girlfriend. Like, everything that I knew I was saying goodbye to. And I was going to enter an army. I was going to enter the military academy. I was going to enter, in my opinion, the unknown. And it scared me. Was I finally landed that same day? I got up to the military academy. They quickly shaved my head, put a gray t-shirt on me, black shorts, very high black shorts, black socks up to my knees, black loafers on. Yes, I did look like a dork, but I was comforted because everyone else looked the same. Everyone was in the same thing, so there was a comfort. And it's funny to say this, but they gave us a rank. It was new cadet. And no, not cadet, new cadet. And there was a difference. They didn't even call us cadet until we became a cadet. But new cadet, we were told, had a rank. It was right below the commandant's dog. Yes, dog. But luckily, we had a little self-worth because we were ranked right above the naval goat. So we at least had a little bit of life to live off of. But we also had to do duties every day. As new cadets, you deliver upperclassmen's laundry, take out the trash, clean the toilets, do just odd-end jobs. Like, we thought they were worthless, but it was important, just household chores. And I remember going down the hall 120 paces per minute. That's like moving out without running, carrying this big pile of laundry, delivering to some upperclassmen. I didn't know who it was, didn't know where they lived, didn't know what job. I didn't know anything. And this upperclassman stops right in front of me, this female. She's about a foot shorter. And granted, I'm like 210 pounds of twisted steel and sex appeal. Like, I'm a big dude. And when she stops me, I'm like, yes, ma'am. And she's like, I'm not a man. I'm a sergeant. Yes, sergeant. And then she's like, where are you going? I don't know. Is that one of your 4 responses? No, sergeant. No, ma'am. Like, and I just start bawling. And I mean, it's embarrassing to say, and I want to say, like, it's sad to say, but like after she pulled her jaw off the ground in shock, this big burly dude is crying in front of her. She looked at me and said, hey, you need to understand that we're training you here for a reason. And in 47 short months, you're going to be leading men and women in the United States Army. And if delivering a piece of laundry is this difficult for you, you may need to reconsider what you're doing here. And she said, go back to your room, get yourself together, because I was probably still sniffling, and think about why you're here. And so I did. I went back to her room. And like I said earlier, everything that I had, none of it was the same. My whole life was stripped from me. But they did allow us to keep one knickknack. And apparently everything that is yours is called a knickknack. I don't know the definition of knickknack, but other than something that you own. But the one knickknack that I was able to carry with me was my Bible. And so I opened it up, and specifically to Philippians, where Paul is talking about, he's been beaten, he's been tired, he's been hungry. But he says, through Christ, I can do all things. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, a guy who's been beaten, a guy who's hungry, a guy who's tired, like, he doesn't mention delivering a piece of laundry. Like I'm pretty pathetic. But it really got me thinking that if God wants me here for a reason, my family, I think I have a purpose, I need to gather myself together and pick it up and understand the values that I'm being taught, the selfless service, the honor, integrity, personal courage, the values that we're being taught on a daily basis, and do my job to the best of my ability. So I did. I made a decision to stay at the military academy. I made a decision to make a difference. And as I went through the military academy, I gained great friends, Edward, Dave, Adam, just amazing Christian men that I could hang out with. They never said I hung out because I always studied. Well, I was there for a reason to get good grades, and I was coming up a little short many times. So I knew the importance of life. But I also attended biblical Christ events, Officer Christian Fellowship. I was able to teach Sunday school my junior and senior year with my friends. And I remember we taught second grade, and granted, if any of you do drop your kids off at daycare or Sunday school, make sure that they don't run the operations like I did. We would line the desk up, and these students would be running on the desk. And I was always afraid someone was going to break their arm because it had been my fault. But luckily, we were good. But I remember this little kid, Andrew Harris, like cute, darling little boy. He was kind of chubby, I got 2 boys. They're kind of chunky. But he was darling. And I was like, hey, what's up, Drew? He's like, my name's not Drew, it's Andrew. I was like, yeah, but Drew's a cool name, isn't it? He's like, yeah, I guess. I know I was the only one to call him Drew, but it was awesome to see how I was trying to positively